Hey people, it's me again. I was actually going to wait until the morning to record this, but I've just got too many things to say right now. Yes, first and foremost, I am a little bit drunk. I did have another night out in Madrid. This one was a little bit crazier than the one before. And so I have a little agenda prepared of what to talk about. I didn't plan this out very well, so I'm going to just go in the order, the chronological order of events. First is my first real night out, as far as I'm concerned, in Madrid, and the second is tonight, and the third has to do with something a little bit off topic for this blog, because this blog is primarily supposed to be about my adventures in Spain. But it's 9/11, and I guess I'm doing a little bit of what you could call a memorial piece tonight, because I was motivated to do so. Because as most of you know, I sort of gave up politics sometime in acting school because it just became way too frustrating, but recently, in the last couple of months, I've been remotivated. But anyway, that's for later. First, the fun stuff. So, my first night out in Madrid, as far as I'm concerned, I went to a couple different bars with a random Madrileño that I met. And the first, I think, was more of a lesbian bar than a gay guy's bar. And it was actually, compared to lesbian bars in New York City, very friendly. I actually enjoyed being there for once. And then afterwards we went to Black and White, which is known for having chaperos, which is like Madrid slang for prostitutes, like male prostitutes. But that's only in the front part. If you go to the back part, you're totally safe. And that's where I went because there was a drag show. Because I knew because of the guy I was with, and the guy knew one of the drag queens. I think that's why she called me up. There was much fraudage involved. I'll just say that and leave the rest to your imagination. And afterward, through the whole thing, I had to keep asking what she was saying because she talked so fast I couldn't understand. But it basically came down to, she asked my name, she asked where I was from, I told them, and she asked me why I was here, and of course I told her to study Spanish translation, and she asked me what was the first book I read in Spanish, and of course I answered La Casa de Bernarda Alba, which is the house of, like, Bernarda Alba's house, which is like a very famous play in Spanish, for those of you who don't know. And she asked me what were two of the sisters' names, and of course immediately I started blanking out because I was nervous. But I did answer two of the sisters' names, and my answers were Martirio, Adela, and then a few minutes later I volunteered Angustias as bonus points answers. And because of this, and for being a good sport, I got a free drink, so that's always nice. But it actually sort of made my night, because she didn't read me for any sort of points. She was totally nice. She was actually probably Madrid's answer to Erica Couture, except for Erica Couture could totally take her in a death match. Long story short, shout out goes to Neil today. Hey Neil! This one has to shout out to Neil. And that's to say, as far as I'm concerned, whenever I was meeting drag queens, and I met like 3 or 4 that night, I knew that they better work. They better work because I know vanilla. And if you feel like the drag queens in New York were lacking, oh boy, you'd be hurting in Madrid. Okay, so that's the first night. First night was full of drag queens and fun. Second night was tonight, and it was, I'm probably going to say this wrong, La Noche del Blanco. I don't know, it sort of means white night in English, and it's sort of just like a big cultural fiesta, but it's more during the day, and then at night it just turns into a big crazy party where lots of people go out. And I went out today, and I went to a bar called Rock and Roll, which played a lot of music that we would categorize as music for hipsters, except for actually in Madrid, hipsters are the good guys. It's hard to believe, but it's true. And so we danced to that, but after we left, this guy tried to steal my roommate's friend's iPhone, and my roommate and I naturally came to his defense, and this caused a miniature scene, nothing big, no blood was drawn, not even a punch was thrown. There was some pushing to get this guy away from grabbing our friend's iPhone, but that was about it, and some, crazy looks by me, baring my teeth and stuff like that. And so the police came and told me and my friend to just sort of stay there, and asked my roommate's friend and the guy who tried to steal questions and stuff, which I guess they answered satisfactory because we didn't get a fine or taken into jail or anything like that. I do know that his girlfriend screamed a lot of palabrotas, which means bad words, at me in Spanish that I didn't really understand, and that's the beautiful thing about having a very selective ear for when I understand Spanish, is that if someone wants to curse me out, I'm not going to understand a damn word they're saying, which makes it really easy for me to not get angry or make it into a situation worse than it already is. So that happened, and basically that was the most exciting thing that happened tonight. Now I try to keep all my posts under 10 minutes because I don't want people to get bored to death, and I've got 3 minutes left according to the little timer. So I'm going to move on to the third thing, which is about some posts I saw on Facebook tonight, which actually disturbed me a lot. Because it's actually 9:12 right now, but most of these posts were throughout the day on 9/11. It was from a friend of my Uncle Mike's that I barely remember from my childhood, who posted a lot of disturbing things regarding the quote-unquote mosque at Times Square, which is neither a mosque nor, I'm sorry, not Times Square, at Ground Zero, excuse me. That's neither a mosque nor actually at Ground Zero. And I don't understand why people outside of New York have more of an opinion on it than people in New York, because I will go on record saying that I think by and large most of the people who are living in New York City, nay, most of the people who are living in the borough of Manhattan, don't care that much. We're actually, I think, by and large pretty fine with it, because like I said, it's not really a mosque, it's more like a YMCA for Muslim people, and I actually went to a YMCA many times, and for most of my religiously conscious life, have not claimed ever to be a Christian, and you can still enjoy the services of such a place, and you don't really actually feel like you're in a preachy sort of Christian establishment. And I imagine it'd be pretty much the same with this quote-unquote mosque. And even if the case were that it were an actual mosque, so what? They can build where they want to. And yes, I know it's Ground Zero. I know that it was Islamic extremists, and I stress the word extremists, that committed the attack. But, that's like saying you can't, something with Reverend, the person who comes to mind is Reverend Phelps. All gay people hate Reverend Phelps, and let's say he died, and I don't know, I can't even think of a good example. I'm just rambling. I'm not even going to try because I'm a little drunk and I can't do it. Those of you who understand or who will understand get where I'm coming from. Those of you who will never understand, I'm not going to waste my breath. And Scott, whatever his face is obviously one of those people. So I actually sort of just feel bad for him in the end. And as I was at the point of writing, but didn't quite do, is situations like these make me really happy that my generation are the ones coming in. We're the ones taking control. We're the ones who are in charge now. Your generation needs to go into the corner, scream whatever little conservative, hateful, bigotry things they want to scream, and that's the end of that, because now we're in charge. So I'm sorry about you, because that's how it goes. So all the 50, 60-year-olds who are screaming crazy, conservative, weird, just sort of off the wall, full of holes, I don't even understand what they're talking about half the time because it doesn't even make sense, things can keep on doing that. It doesn't matter because we're in charge now. It's our world, not yours. And that's what I need to remember in times like these, when I'm faced with ignorance like this. That people of my generation, even though there are definitely some out there who are extremely conservative and who I could also have many a bone to pick with, I do think by and large we have overcome a certain amount of bigotry, and that makes me comfortable for the future. So I'm going to leave this post on a hopeful note like that. And this light is killing me because I have to have a light on right now because it's really dark. So good night.